If you're over the age of 60 and you've noticed your erections aren't quite as strong as they used to be, if you find yourself feeling tired even before lunchtime, and if a full night's sleep has become a distant memory, then this is especially for you. The underlying reason for these changes might be something quite simple that your doctor hasn't yet mentioned. Your body could be lacking a very important herb, one that can help reignite processes that have naturally slowed down with age. Just one herb, taken before you go to sleep. That's all it takes. I'm Dr. Edward Langley, and I'm a specialist in men's health, as well as a professor of urology. For more than 30 years, I've been helping men rediscover their strength, their vitality, and their confidence. I've worked with many men across the country, from business leaders to veterans, and what I'm about to share with you isn't just a theory. It's real, it's proven, and it's helped many men feel like themselves once again. A lot of men think they need testosterone injections, those little blue pills, or that they just have to accept that decline is a normal part of getting older. But what if that's not the case? What if your body is still capable, but it simply needs the right raw materials to function the way it used to? That's where this particular herb comes in. It's not a synthetic drug, and it's not a gimmick. It's a real plant that's been used for centuries, and it's been scientifically shown to work with the aging male body. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how taking just this one herb before bed can help restore firmer erections, give you more energy throughout the day, and help you enjoy deeper, more restful sleep, all without making drastic changes to your diet, your medications, or your entire lifestyle. And please stay with me, because in just a little while, I'll reveal the name of this herb, how to use it, and why it's particularly effective for men over 60. You likely haven't heard this before, but once you do, you'll probably wonder why no one told you about it sooner. Before we get started, if you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications, so you never miss out on simple, natural health tips designed specifically for men over 60. And if this message resonates with you, please type 1 in the comments. If it doesn't, type 0. Your feedback helps me make these videos better and more useful for you. Okay, let's talk about why things might have changed for you. If you've noticed weaker erections, lower energy levels, and trouble sleeping after 60, it's not just a simple matter of getting older. There's usually a deeper reason behind it. Understanding this reason is the first step to turning things around. Let me explain why erections, energy, and sleep tend to decline after 60. I've had men sitting across from me in my office, their eyes downcast, their voices softer than usual, asking me the same question I've been hearing for over 3 decades. Doctor, what's happening to me? They're not just talking about sex, although that's often where the concerns begin. They're talking about feeling like a shadow of the man they once were. They're describing a lack of energy, a missing spark, an absence of restful sleep, and they often blame themselves. But here's what I tell them: it's not your fault. After 60, your body starts to change in ways that most men simply aren't prepared for. One of the biggest changes is a natural decrease in testosterone. That's certainly part of the picture, but it's not the whole story. What often starts to decline even more significantly is something even more crucial: nitric oxide production. You see, nitric oxide is a molecule that signals your blood vessels to relax, expand, and allow blood to flow freely, especially to vital areas like your heart, your brain, and yes, your penis. As nitric oxide levels decrease, so does your circulation. Erections become weaker, or they might disappear altogether. Sleep becomes shallow and easily disrupted. Your energy fades by midday, and when you don't sleep well, your hormone levels can drop even further. It's a challenging cycle. Most men assume that this is just a normal part of aging, but the truth is that these symptoms are often warning signs that your body's natural systems are slowing down because they're not getting enough support. It's not that you're broken, but that your body needs a little help. I understand how frustrating it can be to feel this way, like you're gradually fading, even when you're doing everything you think you should be doing. But what if I told you that there's a way to interrupt this cycle? What if one simple natural step before bed could help your body start to repair itself overnight, improving your blood flow, your sleep, and your overall strength? That's exactly what we're going to explore next, starting with a powerful herb that you probably haven't even heard of. Over the years, I've come to realize something that many doctors don't fully explain to their patients: that testosterone isn't the only key to better erections or increased energy. Don't get me wrong, it's important. But the real key, the one that I keep coming back to again and again, is blood flow. And behind blood flow is one unsung hero: nitric oxide. I remember one patient, a 64-year-old gentleman named Richard, who came to me saying that he felt like his body had simply stopped cooperating. His libido had plummeted, his erections were unpredictable at best, and he was constantly exhausted, no matter how much he slept. But what struck me wasn't how unusual his story was, but rather how common it had become. And most men like Richard have never even heard of nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is a gas that your body produces naturally, and it plays a significant role in relaxing the inner muscles of your blood vessels. When those vessels relax, they widen, and blood flows more freely. It's what allows blood to rush into the penis to create and maintain an erection. It's what keeps your brain sharp and your heart strong. And here's the thing, after the age of 60, nitric oxide production can drop by as much as 50%. That decline explains a lot. Poor circulation, cold hands and feet, brain fog, erectile issues, and perhaps worst of all, without proper blood flow at night, your brain doesn't enter those deep stages of sleep where hormones are regulated and cells are repaired. It becomes a self-perpetuating cycle. Weak blood flow leads to poor sleep, which leads to hormonal imbalances, which then leads to even weaker erections and lower energy levels. But here's the good news. Your body still wants to produce nitric oxide. It just needs the right kind of support. And as I'm about to show you, there's one herb that naturally boosts nitric oxide production in older men, especially when it's taken before bed. You've probably walked right past it in the store without realizing what it can really do. But after you hear this, you'll never look at it the same way again. When I first started practicing medicine, I was trained to rely on prescriptions, pills, injections, patches. That's how we were taught to treat men experiencing low energy, erectile problems, and sleep disturbances. But over time, I began to notice something. Many of my older patients weren't actually getting better. They were simply managing their symptoms. That didn't sit right with me. So, I started exploring natural solutions, therapies that supported the body instead of forcing it. And that's when I discovered an herb that I'll never forget. It's called Tribulus Terrestris. It's not a fancy name, and it's not as trendy as ginseng or ashwagandha. In fact, most men walk right past it in the health food aisle without giving it a second glance. But what this plant lacks in flash, it more than makes up for in pure potency, particularly for men over 60. Tribulus has been used in traditional medicine for centuries, especially in regions where male vitality and endurance were highly valued. Modern science now shows that compounds in Tribulus, specifically saponins, can help stimulate luteinizing hormone, which supports your body's natural testosterone production. But even more importantly, it also enhances nitric oxide release. As we just discussed, that means stronger blood flow, better circulation, and improved sexual response. I remember a patient named Charles, a 70-year-old retired engineer. He wasn't particularly interested in natural remedies until his sleep became so disrupted and his erections so unreliable that he finally said, "I'll try anything." I recommended just one change, Tribulus before bed. Within 2 weeks, he called me and said, "Doctor, I haven't slept that deeply or woken up feeling this refreshed in years." But here's the key point. It's not just what you take that matters, it's when you take it. And that's where most men make a mistake. There's a critical reason why this herb works best at night. And if you miss that window, you're missing out on everything it could potentially do for you. Let me explain why timing makes all the difference. When you're in your 30s or 40s, your body has reserves. Hormone levels are generally higher, blood flow is strong, and sleep comes more easily. But after 60, those systems naturally start to slow down. That's just a part of life. However, the beauty of nature is that it also provides us with ways to support those same systems, if we know how to use them correctly. And when it comes to Tribulus terrestris, the way it interacts with your aging biology is precisely why it's so effective for men in this stage of life. I've walked this path with many patients, men who were skeptical at first. But when I show them the actual science of how this herb works, I can see a spark of hope returning to their eyes. Because it's not about belief or hype, it's about physiology. Tribulus helps stimulate a signal in the brain called luteinizing hormone, which tells your testes to produce more of your own natural testosterone. Not in excess, but just enough to start restoring balance. That alone is powerful, but its benefits don't stop there. The herb also enhances nitric oxide synthase, the enzyme responsible for producing nitric oxide in your blood vessels. For a man over 60, that boost in nitric oxide can often make the difference between a sluggish body and one that wakes up feeling energized, between a restless night and a deep, restorative sleep. Blood flows more freely. Oxygen reaches your brain and muscles more efficiently. Your sexual response improves because the pathways are no longer restricted. I often think of it like clearing a traffic jam on the freeway. The cars, representing your blood, can finally move. And once things are flowing smoothly again, everything else starts to work better too. But here's where it gets really interesting. The timing of when you take this herb can either unlock its full potential or waste it completely. And most men are taking it at the wrong time of day, without even realizing it. In the next section, I'll explain why nighttime is the secret window that your body has been waiting for. One of the most common mistakes I see men make, even those who do their research and are genuinely concerned about their health, is taking the right supplement at the wrong time. And when that happens, you might still feel a little better, but you're not unlocking the real power that the herb has to offer. With Tribulus Terrestris, the timing isn't just a minor detail, it's absolutely crucial. Let me tell you about a patient of mine named Robert, who was 66 years old. He had been taking Tribulus every morning for months. And while he noticed a slight increase in his energy levels, it didn't improve his sleep. His erections were still inconsistent, and he felt understandably frustrated. I asked him a simple question: "Have you ever tried taking it before bed?" He looked surprised and said, "Why would I do that?" But he trusted my advice, and within a week of switching to nighttime dosing, everything changed. His sleep became deeper and more restful. His morning erections returned. And he said something that I'll never forget: "I feel like I've reset." Here's the reason why it works so well. Your body does most of its hormone production, tissue repair, and nitric oxide activity at night, especially between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. That's when testosterone pulses occur. It's when your brain clears out waste and your muscles regenerate. It's the body's natural reset window. When you take Tribulus before bed, you're aligning its effects with the very systems that need it most. You're not just adding something to your routine, you're supporting your body's overnight engine, giving it the exact fuel it's craving at the right time. That's why men who take this herb before bed often wake up feeling more refreshed, stronger, and yes, noticeably more responsive in the bedroom. Now, you might be wondering, is this just a placebo effect? Is this just one man's story? Not at all. In fact, I've seen this transformation in dozens of men. And in the next part, I'll share a few powerful stories that demonstrate just how real these results can be. There's something incredibly powerful about seeing real change in real people. I can talk about the science all day long, and I certainly appreciate the data. But what truly motivates me are those moments when a man walks into my office looking lighter, more confident, and says, "Doctor, I feel like myself again." That's what this is all about. It's not about numbers or charts, but about restoring dignity, strength, and joy to men who thought that chapter of their lives was over. Let me share one story that still resonates with me. His name was Harold, and he was a 71-year-old retired firefighter. He came to see me after struggling with poor sleep and a lack of morning erections for nearly 3 years. He said, "I don't need to feel 25 again. I just want to feel alive." I put him on a simple plan. No complex changes, no risky drugs, just one thing: Tribulus Terrestris before bed. That was it. After just 10 days, Harold sent me an email: "Doctor, I slept through the night for the first time in months. And this morning, let's just say I was pleasantly surprised." A few weeks later, he told me that his wife had noticed the difference even before he did. More energy, more presence, more intimacy, and not from a pill that wears off after a few hours, but from something that helped his body come back online naturally. And Harold isn't alone. I've seen this happen with men from all walks of life: teachers, truck drivers, veterans, grandfathers. Once they understand how their body works and give it what it's been quietly asking for, things begin to shift. The light comes back. But, of course, none of this works without the right approach. You have to know what to take, how to take it, and which forms are actually effective. Because not all supplements are created equal, and getting this part wrong can make all the difference. So, in the next section, I'll walk you through exactly how to start using this herb safely, effectively, and with real results that you can feel. If you've made it this far, it means that something in this message has struck a chord with you. Perhaps you've been feeling that quiet frustration, waking up tired, going to bed restless, feeling like your body is just a little more distant than it used to be. The good news is that you now understand what's behind it. And even better, you have a clear next step. The key to starting with Tribulus Terrestris is choosing the right form, the right dose, and the right routine. This isn't about randomly throwing supplements at the wall and hoping that something sticks. You want a high-quality extract, specifically one that contains at least 40% saponins. That's the active compound that actually gets the job done. The label should clearly state this, and the product should be GMP certified, which means that it meets high standards for purity and safety. As for the dose, I typically recommend between 500 to 750 milligrams once daily, taken about 30 to 60 minutes before bed. That timing is more important than most men realize. Taking it at night aligns with your body's natural hormone rhythms and repair cycles. It supports the systems that help produce testosterone, promote deeper sleep, and improve circulation, all while you rest. There's no complicated routine, just one capsule, one small commitment. And consistency is key. Don't expect dramatic results on the first night. Think of it like watering dry soil. Your body needs time to absorb, respond, and begin functioning at its best again. Most men start noticing deeper sleep and firmer erections within 7 to 10 days, with continued improvements over 3 to 4 weeks.
Start tonig, take the help, keep the routine simple.
Trust your body to respond, because it wants to. And now that you know what to do, the only question left is this: what happens when you finally give your body the chance to come back to life again? Let me leave you with one final thought that I believe every man over 60 needs to hear. After more than 3 decades of working with men across the country, men who've built families, served their communities, and overcome hardships, I've come to understand something that's rarely said out loud. Aging doesn't mean losing who you are. It doesn't mean that you have to surrender your strength, your energy, your desire, or your manhood. You don't have to settle for restless nights, fading erections, or that constant feeling of being just a little out of sync with yourself. You simply need to give your body the tools that it no longer produces on its own, and trust that it still knows how to respond. We've talked about why erections, energy, and sleep decline after 60, and how nitric oxide, not just testosterone, plays a critical role. We've uncovered the powerful herb Tribulus Terrestris and the science behind how it works specifically for men your age. You've seen the importance of taking it before bed, when your body is naturally rebuilding itself. You've heard the stories of men who took that first step and began to feel alive again. And now you know how to start tonight, simply and safely. I've seen this herb change lives, not because it's magic, but because it works with your biology, not against it. And as a doctor, there's no greater satisfaction than watching a man regain his confidence, restore his energy, and show up more fully for his life and his loved ones.
Tats wat die Wand for you. So, hier ist my Finaltugt, don't wait.
Don't keep pushing through days that feel dull and nights that feel empty.
You don't need another prescription.
You don't need to accept decline as your new normal. You just need one small action, taken consistently, to open the door back to the man you remember being, the man you still are.
Start tonight.
Your body is ready. It just needs your permission to begin.